What's up, guys? It's Cam.
And it's Joe.
And we are HawksNestGaming, coming at you with our
Banlist predictions.
So, we're going to run through and we're going to do what we think Konami... We're going to open our Konami hats real quick and kind of think to ourselves. We've been kind of pondering what we think they're going to actually hit in terms of where the meta is right now. And obviously, you know, product promotion, right? So
definitely going to hit Sprites and Tears. No, just kidding. Too new. They just came out.
So, let's jump into what we think is going to happen, and we're going to start with the band section. Joe, what's the first one on our band section?
I think we got to go with the Chaos Ruler Dragon, the Synchro. He's just too dumb. Light and dark are prominent in Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway, but especially in the current game, the way it's being played. You get to mill 5, you get to add a card, excavate, add a card, and then send it forward.
And then send the other forward.
So, yeah, effectively, you get a card and you get to send stuff. Like,
I mean, it's so stupid. I played it in Therions, and
Tears,
if you played Therions at all, you know they love to fuel the graveyard and do shenanigans. So it just feels so nice to be able to, let me just add that Ghost Ogre or what other card I need and dump the rest of them to the graveyard. Sure, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
The fact that you can banish a Light in the Dark and then bring it back,
that's another thing. As a recurable body, you can use it for other plays.
I mean, it's banished when it leaves the field after that.
Oh, yeah.
The damage is done.
Exactly.
So, anyway, for the health of the game, card needs to go. Graveyard's just another
resource pool.
It's just recycling your deck. We all know that. Alright, so the next card that needs to go is... We've said it for a while. They put it in 1, but I think it's finally time for Christian Haka-5 to take the axe.
Yeah. It's just a silly card. I mean, look, it is very cool with what it does for the game in terms of ingenuity and the ideas that people come up with, like the different kind of plays. It can actually effectively be something you toss into a deck, and it can change the way that deck works and like engines it might put in there and how the playstyle of the deck would operate. But that is also a boon to it, and also something that kind of hurts it in a way too, because if it gets too far in some direction where it's being abused, as it has been since its inception, then it eventually reaches a point where, look, this card is effectively caused, 12 cards we were saying? Something like that to get hit. I mean, if it gets hit, we'll discuss it later, but those cards come back, like, for real. Because they're just not as dumb without that card in the game. So, a card that does that, it warps things, you know? And,
it's the same with Verte Anaconda, right? It's just, it enables too many generic things.
If it needed to have a Quistron or, you know, Anaconda needed a Predaplant, we'd be talking a different story.
It wouldn't matter. But the fact that you can... Oh, crap. You stopped me twice. Well, I guess I'll just make Anaconda, or just make Haka-5 because a lot of people can do that.
Yeah.
Alright, next card.
Mystic Mind.
Elephant in the room.
No, it needs to go. It needs to go. Look, is Konami actually going to ban it? I don't know. Is it maybe going to go to 1 instead? Who knows? That's kind of dumb in my opinion.
It needs to get addressed in some fashion.
It's just...
Ban it, limit it. I'm fine with limiting it. We talked about it. We put this on here because we think it's the best. It just won a YCS. Literally, mine burned just won a YCS.
I've experienced that. As someone who sat across the table and watched my opponent play the card, I don't get the out. They just keep getting, then they finally get to what they need and they just kill me. It's stupid. Who enjoys that? Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, it has its dumb cards, but like even in Pure Order, when it was around with its errata, you had to play it. Basically, if you played it, you also had to be restricted under it. Mystic Mind is a versatile card where you can basically, you can't do stuff, now it's my turn, okay, I can play a monster, now I got the things I need, I can do the things on my turn when you can't, or I can, get rid of it and do that stuff. But, like, it's just one of those things like Vanity's Emptiness. You could use it to your benefit and then do something to make it go away, and then you would benefit off stopping your opponent with it, floodgating him out, but then turn it off when you need it to, and then you do what you need to. It's just not fair. Yu-Gi-Oh! Should not be like that.
And it's just... Alright. For y'all that have not played or played against the Runic cards, Runic Mine, I've got it built right now. Yeah. Well, actually, I don't have mine in it because I just
you can't do that to people.
Do that to people. I just can't do it. But I have put mine in it just to play around with it, guys. It is filthy. Being able to sit across from your opponent and just play and banish their entire deck, and they can't do crap about it. Literally can't do anything about it. As soon as they commit to board, you're like, okay, Mystic Mine, Demise of the Land, Mystic Mine. They're like, well, that was fun.
Yeah.
And it's terrible. It's so bad, and it shuts down so many things. And unlike Skill Drain, where the effects are negated on the field, it says no monster effects anywhere. So it just needs to go.
Yeah.
The next thing, we kind of chopped up one of two cards, but either Scythe or Dagda need to go. It shuts down an entire mechanic of the game. It shuts the extra deck off for the entire turn, and 97% of decks require their extra deck. So,
and I think we both kind of reached more of a consensus where we think Dagda is the more like okay, like if you're gonna ban it, one of them, you know, that makes it so that if you're gonna play the Scythe, you have to commit the Sanctums to your deck, and you're basically having to put the Scythe and the Sanctum, which is 4 cards at the very minimum that you are putting to be able to play that card. So, and the other thing is it changes the dynamic. Like, you have to play more of a control deck probably. You can't necessarily be a combo deck and then like, get rid of your Dagda and then get the Scythe and then be able to just use it more effectively and freely. You know, you're more just like, you have to have the Scythe and activate it and all that. So,
I mean, I've seen people sideboard the Sanctum.
Sorry, I said the Scythe.
I've seen people sideboard the Sanctum and the Scythe. But there again, it's just RNG, right? It's just like if I open it, then I open it going first.
That's
like,
the difference. You have to get the Sanctum. You have to like the Dagda. You can, you know, just like any extra deck.
You can make Dagda so easily, and then pop it so easily with shoot. I mean, so many different options let you pop cards. So anyway, we both were leaning toward Dagda, but either one, Sanctum or a Scythe or Dagda, needs to get banned, just because it shuts down that whole mechanic. The extra deck shuts it. So that's really all we have for cards that need to get banned. Oh no, one more. Striker Dragon.
Oh yeah.
Striker Dragon needs to go because it's a generic. Well, it's not a generic Link 1, but it's a generic Link 1 for dragons. Okay?
Which dragons are like what? One of the most.
I think it's literally the most printed type
yeah.
in the game, and with all the hits that they've taken, LP, Pisty. Is Pisty still banned? No, Pisty's not banned. LP's banned.
Yeah.
LP
and the Guard Dragon.
Yeah, whatever. Argotpan got banned.
Yeah, Argotpan.
Boy, that was so much fun. I love playing Heart of Red. Just get that for free.
No, that.
Anyway, yeah. So Striker Dragon needs to go. They banned Meow Meow Mew just because of the simplicity of having a generic, an archetypal Link 1 that's abusable by anything. Striker Dragon, Chaos Space equals full combo, because one card gets you your white or your black. You make Striker Dragon get the other one, and you link up, and you just go nuts. It doesn't matter. I mean, boot sector. It searches your boot sector, that gets you other extenders, continues the whole process. Quick launch gives you access to the same thing. It gives you access. Striker Dragon is the card that enables all that. So I think that goes to 1, and it really knocks down, because Dragon Link is still running around like crazy.
Well, you meant banned, right? You want actually full.
Oh, I said limited. It already is limited. It needs to get banned.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, Axe Striker Dragon. So that's it for our ban cards.
Yeah,
for a recap, we've got Chaos Ruler, Halka Fibrax, Mine, Dagda or Scythe. We're gonna lean Dagda, and then Striker Dragon. So just 5, not a crazy hit, just knocks stuff down just a little bit of a peg, and gets rid of some of the problematic abusable cards.
Yeah.
All right, so limited. We've got a small limited section. I really don't think there's a ton that needs to be hit here. To go 2-1. We got some stuff. We want to come back to 1, but we'll get there in a second.
Yeah.
So the first thing is E-Tele, Emergency Teleport. That needs to go back to 1. It did its job. It sold the punks. It sold Grand Creators. It was great. It's awesome. It's not once per turn. It's super abusable, and I'm sorry. 6 copies of Xiamen is too much.
Look, it got brought back, and it was waiting for another psychic thing to abuse it to go back to 1, basically. I mean, it's a free thing, it's a starter, it's specials from the deck. You get, you can just do so much with it. And the fact that it's not once per turn, it's a quick play, there's just so much you can do. So,
I mean, at the very least, you can at least special summon Ogre and have some form of interruption.
Yeah, if nothing else, like you just get it as an extra thing on top of everything else. So.
And if, Lord, they don't bad Hulk and that still stays with me, my God. Anyway, here's another tuner. So the next thing, and we're kind of chatting this up, but we're gonna package this up together, right? We're gonna go ahead and package this up together. So we want to talk about the adventure engine.
Yeah.
So Joe and I believe in the same opinion that we think Water Enchantress is gonna go to 1. Now, could it go to 2? Yeah, they may just semi-limit Enchantress and Right. But with 1 Enchantress, you still technically have how many copies of Enchantress? Because you have Foolish Burial in the game, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I think they'll just limit it. But either way, just reduce the consistency.
Yeah, the adventure stuff, I think we're more of the opinion Enchantress to 1, Right to 2, or I guess they decided to put Enchantress to 2 and Right to 2.
Not gonna hate
those two, but
not gonna hate it. Either way, just reduce the consistency of it. So semi-limits. Is there anything else we want to talk about semi-limits?
we already mentioned Right, and that honestly was the biggest thing, I think, right? There wasn't anything. Semi-limit's always kind of a, weird thing.
Malicious zone.
Yeah, for real. It's what exists for.
So that's really all we've got for our ban list. A lot of people were expecting a massive list this time around, but I think now that that Splites and Tears have been in the game long enough to really have an impact on the meta and see how it's kind of shaped up and formed up. I don't know that anything else. I mean, I feel like the big decks of the last format have been knocked down.
Yeah, we talked about this. If there's gonna be a massive list, it'll be the list that Sprite and Tears also get hit eventually. And when that gets hit, you're gonna probably have to touch Despia and Sword Soul and some of the other big guys that were in the room, unless some other stuff comes along as well, right? But from what we know right now, you're gonna have to hit those decks as well because they're just gonna probably be the next ones that take a step up, right? It's like these decks are now not as good as they were. Well, these decks were really good, and now they can be just as good as they were. Of course, if they don't hit anything, because I think we did talk about it. One thing that we can maybe add also, I think we're saying for Sword Soul as a limit.
Let's do that.
The emergence, right?
Yeah, Sword Soul emergence should get limited. Just to reduce the consistency of it and keep that 1 card crack back down because man, they're really good at that.
And one of the reasons we think maybe they would do that, even if it's like not as strong in this current meta or whatever, is because it won Nats, and historically decks that win a larger, bigger tournament in Yu-Gi-Oh, they typically look at that and they're like, okay, we're gonna touch this deck in some way because it was good enough to win this major, like huge tournament. So
Right.
So that's all we got, guys. Rate, comment, subscribe, and check out HawksNestGaming for any of your needs.
Guys, we appreciate y'all so much. Just stay tuned for more awesome content. This is Cam.
This is Joe.
We're telling y'all to
Be safe.